in the sky, I'm in the sky. How can I fly? I have no wings, yet I'm in the sky. I remember when I was a little girl, I loved Supercar. Most people don't remember that TV show. It was a marionette show from Britain where the car could just fly in space, in the air. It could just hover above, and then it could also go under the water. I love that car. Supercar. I wanted one of those. In the show, the pilot was Mike Mercury. And I thought at that time, because this was the 1950s and 60s, that in order to get that car, I had to be married to Mike Mercury. Yeah, I know, he was just a puppet and this wasn't real, but I could really envision that car as something in the future would be real. And not that far in the future either. So I was only about 8 years old, 7, 8, something like that. But I wanted that car, and I thought, I'll marry Mike Mercury, and I'll have that car. And this was from watching those shows with Father Knows Best and Leave It to Beaver and My Three Sons, where the wife was always at home taking care of things, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted a life of adventure. But it did have a subtle effect on me, so I thought I have to be married in order to get this thing. And eventually I realized I didn't want Mike Mercury. I wanted that car. That car was cool. That car was freedom. And I could go wherever I wanted. And so I realized I don't need to be married to get what I wanted. I just had to figure out how to do it. Supercar really got into my soul for flying and space and adventure and doing good in the world too. That was very important. The next thing was other shows. We had, well, even cartoon shows like the Jetsons. With their little, they had their little car. They also had their little cars that could go flying around in the air and go places, and all the buildings were up floating, and you can go up and down. It was all three-dimensional. Loved it. So I thought, wow, that's really cool, the future. Because the present wasn't really that cool in the 1960s. There was a lot of unrest, social unrest. So I thought the future was where I wanted to be, and I wanted to work on that. That the social problems would be taken care of, and then we'd be able to do all these exciting things. And then, of course, there was Star Trek. Ah, well, that was really the epitome of what I wanted the future to be. A really positive view of the future. Still a Star Trek fan, and that was extremely important. But that was 1966, so I just turned, okay, I'm going to tell you, I just turned 13, and that went on to 1969. Well, in that time period, because I was about 14 and a half, I met someone in my school, in my class, and she told me about this organization called Civil Air Patrol. And I thought, wow, that sounds perfect for me. Because if I wanted to get into space, then I would need a program like Civil Air Patrol. So I joined up. And through Civil Air Patrol, I learned how to fly an airplane before I learned how to drive a car. And I didn't think about it at the time. It just was the natural thing. I'd go out, my father would take me out to the airport. I don't know if it was once a week, I don't remember. We didn't keep a log of it. But I flew in a Piper Cub, and it was a gray airplane. It was a tail dragger, so the tail was at the underneath the tail. The wheel was underneath the tail, and that made the airplane point this way when you're going down the runway. It kind of tilted that way, as opposed to the tricycle gears, which I flew later on. So that's what started it. Was supercar, and flying, and exploration, and it's all going now. I'm losing it. I don't know why. Does it have something to do with my cats messing up the background? Anyway, flight. The image may be gone behind me, but I still dream of flight through air and into space. And I did make it into the space program. Oh, look at that, the clouds are coming back. So even though I didn't become an astronaut, I applied. I didn't become an astronaut. I did work for the space program on a satellite project and the space shuttle program and in the International Space Station program. So, dreams count no matter where they come from, cartoons, TV shows, or real people. They get you started in life. Dreams. Fly away, fly away. Thank you.